See
There
ya.
we go. Yay. Okay. So on tonight's episode of Paranormal Misfits, I have the lovely Rambling Broads, Alicia and Michelle. How are you guys?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you for coming, because I love listening to you guys. I loved each of your podcasts separately, and then when you guys came together, I was like, this is gold.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. That's so nice.
I love it every second. I torture my husband on the drive to work.
Oh my God.
Like, you got to listen to this one.
That is such. Thank you so much. I am like shocked. I did a expo last March, and I couldn't believe it when people came up and were like, "Oh, I listened to your podcast," and I'm like, "Why? Like, what do you mean?
What are you doing?
You listen to it? Like, that's crazy." Now I'm like all awkward, and I'm like, "So yeah, I'm
Hi.
Vogue.
Vogue.
Show business, man. Like, I just
Why?
don't know what to do. I get so awkward."
Say hi to my husband.
Oh my God, he looks like Michael Myers like that. Oh, he is
Michael Myers. Okay, so before we get into it, Alicia, before you got into the right meeting,
Yeah.
I was telling Michelle that last weekend, well, not necessarily last weekend, but basically my youngest, he's 4, and all of a sudden now he loves horror figures. Thanks to YouTube, whoever you are, you can go burn in hell. But so we have all of these like figurines of all the horror characters now. So my son decided his favorite was Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
So Spirit Halloween opened. We went to it. He goes, I want to be Michael Myers, but I don't want to be the first Michael Myers. I want to be the Halloween Kills Michael Myers. And I'm like, every time we look at a different mask, it goes up like $5 or $10 fucking dollars. Like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those things are wacky.
They are. And so now the running joke is, technically my husband's supposed to be Jason Voorhees. We got him a mask and everything. My son's like, that's who you're going to be, daddy. But no, he wants to be like that annoying dad you see on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook who puts on the full-on Michael Myers gear and like wants to go ride around town and scare people.
Let him do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to.
I love it.
He was like, I'm going to mow the yard.
He's going to
Michael Myers.
out.
I was like, you're going to be fucking pissed off. I was like, you always wait until 5 in the afternoon to do this shit in Florida. I'm like, no, because I'm not calling the ambulance. Absolutely not. Because you decided to be dumb.
Imagine them coming to pick up your
out Michael
husband.
Myers on the side of the road and mowing his lawn. They're like, what happened here?
What in the fucking Florida?
Right?
Seriously. In this Florida man news, man passes out wearing Michael Myers mask while mowing his lawn.
Yes. Oh my gosh. On the subject of the Appalachian and Appalachian part, he's from Tennessee.
Oh, okay. I love Tennessee.
So he's like, no, it's this way. It's what did you say it was?
Appalachian.
Yeah, see.
The Appalachians.
I say Appalachian in
Appalachian.
Us Yankees call it Appalachian.
Well, you Yankees are wrong, and you suck at speech. Let me hear.
I suck at speech. Thank you. I'll take that with a grain of salt.
It's okay. I like the way you talk. You got pretty mouth.
I like the way you
pretty
talk.
mouth.
She like the way she talks. She like the way I talk.
Just so you know, we send voice messages to each other all the time.
All day.
And this is it. This is a majority of it. And then us being like, do you see this shit? Yeah, I saw this shit. Do you believe this is real? Yeah, I totally believe this is real.
Right?
Yeah.
My husband's like, well, now no one really cares if the aliens are real. I was like, no, only you care now. I was like, everyone else isn't shocked anymore.
I wasn't shocked, but I am really excited to pick someone's brain. Like, I'm going to invite them over to my pool, and I'm going to, like, get them McDonald's, like, Happy Meals. I'm going to get them all Happy Meals and be like, so, first off, who shot JFK? Because I can't go another second without you telling me.
Right? I want to know.
Mhm.
I saw this thing and it was talking about like it was a TikTok and they're like, oh, whatever organizations like we can't have sex with aliens. It was like,
Fuck, I can't.
Why?
You into like some alien kink?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put limitations on myself.
Okay. So oddly enough, I got a little bit of background on that. So
Okay.
I was watching, and it's only because I watched something. I was watching something on Max. Yeah, HBO Max. So now it's called Max.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of their UFO series. And they were
Mm.
talking about, and there's a bunch of people. They interviewed quite a few people all around the different parts of the United States. For the most part, for the women, when they were abducted, they stated that they were used to try and breed hybrids.
Yeah.
But they could never fully come. Either they couldn't fully come to term, or when they were, I guess, close to like the alien term or whatever, they would be re-abducted and then have the baby and then come home back in their bed and then think they miscarried. Yeah.
I have so many thoughts about this.
I'm just trying to fuck. I'm just saying. I don't know, like what's. I mean,
Just trying to have a good
I'm
time here.
open-minded, a very open-minded person, and I'm gonna go with the
And
flow of
married.
the future. And you know what? You don't need to worry about what Jeremy and I do in our private lives, Michelle. Okay.
We didn't say me and Jeremy. It was all an Alicia story there.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not gonna be here forever. I have to have a
Right.
backup plan.
Hey, Jeremy, if you listen to this, check your life insurance policy.
It doubled all of a sudden.
He knows what my plan is, so it's not even shocking.
Oh man.
Oh my God. Okay. So Alicia,
Yes.
would you like to share your lovely stories about the
elusive Pukwudgie?
Pukwudgies? Yes.
Pukwudgies. So
I need to look on Etsy if there's like little stuffies.
there really isn't a lot of them. I could make you one because I actually crochet and make little amigurumi dolls. So I could make you a Pukwudgie.
Oh, that's exciting. Go ahead.
Pukwudgies are they are sighted all over the country. I found some things, but they're really concentrated in some places, and Massachusetts is one of them. And so that's where I'm from. I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up in one of the like neighboring towns of Boston. And a little bit farther from where I grew up is the Bridgewater Triangle, which I'm sure most people have heard of. Do you know what the Bridgewater Triangle is? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to live in it. Oh my God.
That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. So I lived in a couple towns within it, but Pukwudgies are they're like supposed to be the guys who live around there. So there's this guy named Bill Russo who wrote a story about how, well, he didn't write a story like it was fake. He like recounted it, and he's the cutest little hobbit of a Cape Cod old man. And he's like, so I'm out walking with my dog Samantha, and we're walking down the street, and she was a big dog, so we're walking, and all of a sudden there was a big circle of light right in the middle of the road. And I saw what I thought was a child, looked like a child. And Samantha, she's just, she's shaking in her boots. She's all scared, and she's not normally like that. So I see this child, and he's beckoning to me, and he's speaking to me, and he's saying, E wants you, here. And I look closer, and it appeared to be a short animal with almost like a woodchuck-like face, or some kind of small woodland creature, and it was beckoning me into the light. And I started walking. I didn't even know I was going towards the light. And before I knew it, I turned around and I was running back to my house. And that is like the most popular Pukwudgie story of all the Pukwudgie sightings. Bill Russo is a treasure. He's adorable. Love him. But the whole, the background to Pukwudgies is that the indigenous people of the Cape Cod region in Massachusetts, the Wampanoag people, they had a story of one of their great gods that made the Cape Cod Islands, made the Pukwudgies, and also then made humans. But then he liked the humans better than the Pukwudgies. I actually, in an episode of Northern Gothic, I talked about the Pukwudgies, and I got into this whole thing, and it was like Rage Against the Machine, and the Pukwudgies were like, "Fuck you! What did you tell me?" So what the spirit did was picked up all the Pukwudgies and spun them around, and then threw them in every direction, and that's why you can have Pukwudgie sightings all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a good throw.
Mm-hmm. So these little creatures, they're like 3 to 4 feet tall, sometimes shorter, covered in soft gray hair with a hedgehog-like face. They're like have a humanoid body with longer fingers that they kind of walk like.
They're so
and
cute.
I know this because a friend of mine, and he's also I tell his story on my on Northern Gothic, has Pukwudgies living in his backyard.
Yes, I remember that one.
And I'm like, you're lying. I actually talked to him today, and I was like, how's your family? How are the Pukwudgies? And he's like, fine. You know, but that, like, to me, it is the craziest thing. Like, he can hear them calling his dog in the woods. They go, here, doggy, doggy. Here, doggy, doggy, doggy. And Keith's like, no, doggy, doggy. Like, don't go into the woods, doggy. And so he also lives in the Bridgewater Triangle. And so the theory we came up with our minds, I think him and I might have done it by myself, but is that because of all the development of the area of the Bridgewater Triangle, all of these creatures and these cryptids are being pushed, like deforested.
Mm-hmm.
So they're showing up in people's backyards.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
To move there. You decided to move there.
Pukwudgies are known to like hypnotize people and lure them into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And then like who knows what happens after, but I mean I'm here for it. But they're just like, for some reason, these little, maybe because it's my home state, but Pukwudgies
they're so cute though.
They're so cute. I have a sketch that my friend who saw the Pukwudgies gave to me, and I can share it with you. I'll send it to you.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Oh my god.
So he's a tattoo artist. Oh, sorry, Michelle.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I said he's a tattoo artist, so it's like a really cool drawing.
Oh, have you gotten it as a tattoo yet?
I want to, but I have like 3 other tattoos that aren't finished, so I kind of like feel embarrassed to ask him.
Can you just put it here?
It's your ADD showing in your tattoos.
No, it's just like sometimes like we've been friends for so long, and when he started tattooing, like the ones on my wrists that are like was when he first started, and then the rest of like we kind of would hang out, and he'd be like, "Do you want a tattoo?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I do." Not for most of them.
Always the best.
Yeah.
So I've never told you this either, Alicia. Tristan's from West Virginia, and as your true 90s kids, his mom like, get the fuck out of the house all day. I don't want to see your asses until it's dark. Okay. They're like, we're only supposed to go a little bit far, but we went really, really deep in the woods. And so he was talking about how they would see like what looked like Japanese clowns. Like in the woods, the Japanese clowns. It's kind of like freakishly tall, and like they have these like weird. I don't know. You have to Google it.
What you're talking about?
I know.
Yeah, like garments on, and they're like really tall, and they have like no, but they look like they could be on 4s. He said they would like walk kind of weird and hunched over. But anyways, so he said they saw those one time, but he said also they would hear the flute randomly out in the woods. And he also said that one time they were out there and it was getting really dark, and I'm getting the stories mixed up. One time they put a fire, like not a fire to like start a fire. They're just out there just like camping and stuff. They went too far. Well, his dad, Tristan's dad, saw the fire and knew that it was the boys out there who had started it. And so he went and got them. He said, I've never been so glad to get in trouble, because right at that point we hear snapping in the woods. And it goes quiet. He's like, when the woods went pure quiet, and we saw these like little things running around. And as I've always wondered if it was like Pukwudgies, because he said it was like little tiny people almost.
It might have been the wee folk. I love Pukwudgies. I think they're like I just love them. Oh my God, you never told me about. And now I'm in West Virginia. I can find.
She's like, I'm gonna go now.
Appalachian Pukwudgie.
There you go.
I was wanting Tristan so bad to come on our podcast and tell his stories, because he tells it way better. but he won't come to the podcast because he's a butthole.
Yeah.
You usually gotta bribe them with something. That's what I did with mine.
It doesn't work. We've been
Wow.
together for
Come on
16
here.
years.
You're like, what do you want to talk about, ladies?
No, he's shy. We've been together for 16 years. There's not much I can promise him anymore that I haven't already given up. You know what I mean?
I think so, yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'll do the dishes. You want me to do the dishes?
I'll fold the laundry.
I'm going to put a new load of laundry in. You want me to put a load in? Yeah? You like that?
You like it when I watch his dirty dishes?
Especially because I don't do like anything. So my husband's like, oh, ooh. And I'm like, yeah, you like how I make this plain pasta for dinner? Yeah.
It's just butter and noodles.
The butter and noodles.
This shit's good though. Butter and noodles is amazing.
Mhm.
Well, guys, I have a cryptid to talk about. I can't do an accent like Alicia. And I'm also just going to kind of read a little bit about it because as Alicia, I don't have the memory to remember stuff about a cryptid. It was just not in my brain.
Honey,
So what I'm going to
autism.
talk
It's
about,
fine.
it's fine. I don't have the tism. It's just not there.
I just have the ADD.
I just have emotional damage. It's
That's like,
fine.
you're so funny.
And I
Thank you.
think
It's trauma.
I think as I've gotten a little bit older, I'm like, do I possibly have like maybe not ADD, but just a smidge of it?
Oh no!
Like, everything on the internet's like, this is it, and I was like, that kind of matches a little bit. Like, do I have it? Am I self-diagnosing now? Is this happening?
That's what happened to me and my coworker. She's my best friend, and she's like, so my husband sent me this, and we send ADD or ADHD like TikToks and stuff, like the ADHD song they made, and she's like, yep, yeah, that's us. Like, I know, and it's so sad.
Like when people are like, oh, I just walk around my house like making noises and like singing half of a song. I was like, I've been doing that my whole life. What is this what I've got? Because I can just, my kid was in school for like a week and I didn't have any work yet. And I was going around the house, like truly I interviewed myself. Like I was on a TV show and I interviewed myself for a TV show that I was going to be on in my head. And I was like, well, what is your favorite like, color? I'm like, well, you know, I like this color. And what's your ideal in life? And I would answer my questions. But then also, somebody said it was stimming, but I'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, that's stimming. There's nothing
And
wrong
seeing where
with
like
that.
my voice, that's fine. I mean, people diagnose me now. I'm like, uh-oh, what's happening here?
That's how I learned to do accents and voices, because that's a stim for me. When I'm like overwhelmed, I'll start to speak in accents. And I just like used it to my advantage. Mixed with a little childhood trauma. I'm hilarious.
I can't do an accent. It switches to like it goes from like Cajun to Jamaican to British, possibly. Who
That's my
knows?
dad,
It's atrocious. So I just do voices like, I'm like, hey, what you doing, girl? I'm like, hey, baby, what you doing? And so, like when I'll go to my husband, I'm like, hey, boy, what you doing? He's like, I don't like that.
You're just walking around your house singing Ashanti and Ja Rule songs to yourself, like, hey, girl, yeah, boy, what's up?
Yeah. My favorite thing is listening to Ashanti and Ja Rule in the shower because I get like the echo going and I can kill both parts. Like I am not Ashanti. I am both of them, and I'm gonna do the voices. I'm romancing myself at that point.
You're like, I got this. I own all of it.
I love the confidence. I do. I love it.
Like when people are like, I don't like being alone. I'm like, I fucking love being alone. I love spending time by myself. I enjoy the shit out of my personality. I'm like, I am delightful. This is great.
I am a treasure, I have to say.
Right. That's right.
Just a treasure. And I really enjoy hanging out with myself.
Yeah. So speaking of myself, I really relate to this cryptid. The cryptid is called the Squonk. And if you don't know me, and Alicia's getting there with it, I am very self-hating. in like so many ways.
I mean, aren't most
And
90s people
I
babies?
don't know. I think Alicia
No, I know.
has.
I'm
I think,
irritatingly not like that.
Really?
I apologize. Yeah.
It's okay.
but I also think people see me. They're like, "Oh, she seems so happy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's really good at it." But no,
good mask.
but in real life, if I was to be a cryptid, it would for sure be this one. So the Squonk, and I'm not gonna say its real name because it's like Lacrimogrish dissolvens, and that's I guess the Italian Spanish name for it. I don't know. But anyways, it's a folklore creature, and a fearsome critter that is lives in the hemlock of northern Pennsylvania. Legends of the Squonks originated in the late 19th century in the height of Pennsylvania's importance in the timber and hunting industry. So essentially, this Squonk has been seen all over Pennsylvania. And its earliest known accounts comes from a man named William T. Cox. And he wrote about him. But then also there's a man who said he saw a Squonk after this like kind of folklore legend happened. And he said that the Squonk had skin that was ill-fitting, which I don't know what the fuck that means. It had been
Like from Men in Black when he's like,
yeah, that's all I could think
Oh,
of.
when he pulls it.
Yeah.
sugar
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. It was being covered in warts, and it was ashamed of his appearance, and it hides from plain sight. So it
Oh, I
spends
would
most of
love
his time
that.
crying.
Oh
He
no,
just cries.
sad.
And hunters have tried catching the Squonks and found out that it is capable of dissolving completely into a pool of tears and bubbles when concerned.
Oh.
So a man named J.P. Wentling is supposed to have had coaxed the creature into a bag of which he had carried it home, and it suddenly lightened up. Upon further inspection, he found that all that remained was liquids of the sad animal. So yeah, I mean that's the Squonk. I really relate to the sadness because I cry a lot, like a weird amount.
Saddest thing I've ever heard.
But when you look at him, he's so ugly. He's cute.
I would hug the Squonk. I actually know what the Squonk looks like. My 8-year-old wants to be a cryptozoologist, so we talk about cryptids a lot.
Awesome.
I fucking love your kid.
I know,
She's
right?
so cool.
She's a wackadoodle.
It's really freaking cute. Like some pictures, oh my god, they're so adorable. Like some of them like yucky, but that's it. I mean, it's the Squonk, and I know it's not a lot of information, but really, that's one of the ones that don't have that much information about it. But I can talk about other stuff if you want. I just, that's my Squonk.
I don't know how you guys are about horror or like scary movies. Watch them a lot. Don't watch them. Nah. So I got Shudder. Do you guys have Shudder?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No.
So I was sitting there and I was, like prepping for the podcast, and I was like watching, and it was like The Last Broadcast was the name of the movie. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I read the description and I was like, oh, it's about this team that decides to go out into the woods in New Jersey to go find, or is it New Jersey?
The Jersey
Wherever
Devil?
the Jersey, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called, right? So I was like, oh, I was really excited. What I did not do? I did not pay attention to what year it was made. Because I started watching it and I was like, wow, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah. There's a fine line between like good shitty movie and just bad shitty movie.
Well, so it was 1998, which was about the time of Blair Witch. So they did the same kind of like aspect of it, right? Oh, we're gonna send this team out. It's like found footage. Here's like everyone's interviews, and it was so terrible. Nothing fucking happened. I was so bored. I was like,
Let me be
what
honest with you. I want to get drunk and watch it now.
Do it.
That's all I want to do. You know what's actually pretty decent movies for like a very low budget? Mainly just the first one, the Hill House LLCs. Have you seen that?
Yes, I like
They're
the first
actually
one.
pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the other two I just drunkenly watch, and anything's great when you're drunk.
Is that the one with Zach Bagans?
No.
No, you're thinking of Ghost Adventures.
I love him. No, I was thinking of Demon House, I think is the name of the one where he buys the house in Michigan or Iowa or Indiana.
Yeah.
No. Hell House is it's like a little friend group buys a hotel that supposedly has like it's haunted or whatever, and like when they go to open it, so it's like a pop-up haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And what happens is on opening night, like chaos fucking happens, and so like people get murdered and all this stuff. So they're doing the interview or whatever, and they show you the found footage of the original group, and then they show you basically the found footage of the group like investigating it, and it's wild, fucking wild. I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Low budget movie.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to watch it. I've seen it on Amazon Prime. I've just never watched it. But
That
I'm
was
so rigid. I always am like, I'll watch a new movie, and then I'm like, yeah, but Ken Burns and Prohibition and the West are calling my name.
Right.
It's the same thing with every book. I'm like, Alicia, have you read this? No. I read Stephen King and I read another historical book.
It's called Autism, Michelle. I have a difficult time breaking away from the things that tickle me, okay? I'm trying. I got the Audible. I'm gonna keep trying to listen to it.
There you go.
I'm not mad about it. I'm just picking on you.
I know, it's true. My husband's always like, so, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm reading this book. He's like, what is it? History? Is it dark history? Is it Stephen King? And I'm like, you know what? You need to mind your own business.
You need to get off my shit.
You need to mind your own business.
But so with Zach Bagans, we started watching Ghost Adventures like when it came out.
Yep.
I had my
me
husband watching it, and I was like, I fucking love this shit. And
You
Tristan's
guys
like,
remember
I
the
hate
Goldfield
this.
Hotel, the original one they did? That scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, some of their earlier episodes were so creepy.
Yeah.
But anyways, Tristan hated it. So I decided to make up a fan club for Zach Bagans. I know it's Baggins. Some people say Baggins, but I say Zach Bagans. And we're called the Bagganites, and he hates it.
Is it still an active fan club?
No. This is just a made-up fan club.
He was like,
and then I made him
signing
I
up.
thought you really made a fan club. I got excited. I'm like, I'll join the fan club.
Right?
I did make him a card. This it had Zach Bagans and Aaron, and it was what's his name before he left?
Nick.
And it was them in like sweaters, and they're like posing for a picture, and I put that on a card, and I was like, the Baganites. No, they're in like Argyle sweaters.
Oh my god.
Fancy.
Yeah. So I made him a card, and then I framed it for him.
Aw.
It was his membership acceptance to the Baganites.
I am 100% convinced that Zach Bagans is autistic.
Yes.
100%. I don't think he's a douchebag. I think he's just a nerd. People are like, always, he's so douchey. I'm like, I don't think he gets that it's douchey. I really just think he's like, I'm cool. Like, this is what I like.
He's kind of like, he really is a butthead when he interviews, but it's not intentional. It seems like it seems like an accidental kind of thing. Like now that like I'm
looking at you like,
like lost.
Did you guys see him on Wheel of Fortune when he was in his pink polo shirt?
No.
What?
Now I gotta Google. Hold on.
He looked like such a frat boy. He has a pink polo shirt. He's on with his sister.
Leave him alone.
Listen, it had the pop collar, I believe. Maybe. I don't know. It was definitely a pink polo shirt, but he looks like he popped his collar.
Wheel of there it is. It's on YouTube.
Fortune. Yeah. I just want to see images.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh no, he's sweet. He looks like Dennis Reynolds.
A little bit, yeah. He does look like Dennis from Always Sunny.
When he was younger. Now he doesn't. Yeah. But with that one, he looks like, that's Dennis Reynolds.
Okay. Yeah. So since you like Zach Bagans or Baggins, whichever way you want to say it, what's your favorite episode?
My favorite episode of all time would probably be Bobby Mackey's Music World Part 1.
Part 1.
But that would have to hold a side-by-side seat with Return to the Goldfield Hotel.
I loved that one.
It was awesome with the Constantinos and that one and Bobby Mackey's. And I say those two because they scared me. Those actually, like, I was scared watching those. Besides the initial documentary that just Nick and Zach did, those two, I would say, if you're going to watch Ghost Adventures, those are the two you should watch.
Yep.
I agree. Bobby Mackey's was definitely my favorite. And I can't think of where he was at. But he was, I don't remember. He was he was in this place as an old Western town, and it was I guess like Chinese people used to live there, and like they go into this like haunted house or this like haunted hotel.
Are you talking
Remember
about the
that
one that has the mines? Like that he went into like
Yeah,
the cave
yeah.
system? Oh, what was that
Yeah.
one? I do know which one you're talking about.
Was it
I like
Silver
that one a lot.
Spring? Not Silver Springs. There's so many mining towns. I can't think of the name.
Mhm.
But I know which one you're talking about. I
Yeah.
like, can distinctly see it in my mind. I can see the reenactments on the roads.
Yeah. And anytime they go to like a sanatorium or old prison, because it's so dramatic. I mean, honestly, I would be just as dramatic as Zach Bagans or Baggins. I would be just as dramatic. What's that? Oh my god, what's that? Because also I'm afraid of cockroaches, so I'm like, oh god, it's a fucking cockroach.
You know
Oh,
who's the
don't-
best? Like whoever, everyone sleeps on Aaron. Aaron constantly is
Love
like,
Aaron. His face. So my
Yeah.
dad, when they first came
him.
out, my dad's like, it's the Scooby-Doo gang. They're just missing a dog.
yes. Oh my god, they are.
But Zach did bring his dog for a couple episodes, remember?
No, he
Aw.
adopted the dog because it came from an episode.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
sweet.
Yeah.
It was that
Yeah.
one hotel that had like the big crap. It was like the big springs in the middle of it or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's where he got the dog.
that's right. Yeah. The other
Aw.
episode, it didn't really scare me, but I just find like too much of anything, too big of a collection creeps me out. The Clown Hotel.
Yes.
like, "Ugh."
Oh,
I
It didn't
love
scare me.
Clown Hotel.
No.
I want to go. I love it.
I
want to
would
go and hug all
Go,
the
I
clowns.
wouldn't stay.
No.
I'd love
I'd
it.
drive by it and be like, "Hi,
I would
see you
be
later." No, thank you.
so obnoxious. I'd like bring my own clown mask and be like, "Ah, what's going on? I'm one of the clowns." And they'd be like, "Ma'am, get back in your room. You are not authorized to do that to the other guests." Like, I love all the doll ones. I'm like, "Oh my god, look at the dolls!" And I want to go see. I turn into Linda Belcher. I'm like, "Oh, the babies!" And I want to go see them. I went, "Oh, the babies! Oh my god, my babies! Bring them home, put them on a shelf." I love the dolls.
That was so good.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, Zach,
Uh,
I just I hate at this point I kind of hate to love the show. Or love to
Well, I
hate
don't
it with everyone.
I don't have Discovery, so I don't ever watch it anymore.
It's on
If you
Max
have,
now.
yeah, I was about to say if you have Max,
I don't
it's
have-
on there.
I don't have that either. We're like streaming poor, so we just steal from other friends, and then
It's
we
not
have
my
like, a
Max
couple.
account. Let me just tell you, it's not my Max account that I'm on.
Yeah, we like to call ourselves streaming poor. But he's like, you should get this other streaming channel. I'm like, now that maybe I get a job, I have a job. Maybe we're not a single income anymore. You know, because it's horse
what-
shit, guys.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna keep peddling these podcasts and my art, until I can afford some like top-notch streaming, and then get out there and just like hit snips, make it sexy, or else I don't eat. You know what I'm saying?
Have you guys watched any of the spin-offs of people that came off of Ghost Adventures? Like Dakota and Nyx?
I tried to. I couldn't get into it.
I like their three dynamic. That was my thing. I liked the dynamic of the three of them. And I truly believe when it was just the three of them in the original part, the reason they had so many things happen is something about the three of theirs energy together is like polarizing for these spirits. I truly, truly believe that because they got I'm sorry if you believe it or you don't. They got some shit, man, that you would no one else has ever been able to do. So there has to be something about their energies together because since they separated, I feel like it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same.
Well, and I was thinking of the other episodes, but I tried to watch Nick's show and I just couldn't get into it. It was so boring. And I get it, they're like not gonna fake stuff, and that's fine. But also I'm like, it just doesn't make for a good show, my man. Like it's not entertaining because it's not like you get that much history out of it. If he was like, all right, here's a history lesson, kind of, and then here's the place, I could even handle that. But I don't know. It just, he just isn't doing great on his own, in my opinion.
He keeps kind of getting like not so great like co-hosts. Like I'm not a huge fan of Katrina. I'm really not.
Yeah.
She's kind of,
well,
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to talk too much trash about people.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get bitchy, but But I wasn't a fan of her, and I don't know. Like I said, I just don't think the show's good. And then I also don't like on Ghost Adventures. I don't like what's his name.
Is it Billy?
Short dude. Billy. I don't like Billy.
I don't either. There's something I just do not like.
Weird vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just ignore him. And now I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to like think of what I think, and I'm like, I just don't even look at him.
Which is weird because like now he's more prominent. Like the first episode I really watched where like they kind of honed in on him was, what is it, Zozo House?
Oh, yeah.
That was a weird. That was a stupid fucking episode.
That was.
Well, like when she comes in and her buttons all unbuttoned, I was like, she's just drunk as shit. I've seen my uncle girlfriends do that shit before. She just fucked up.
And then she runs down the street and they go looking for her, and I'm like, whoa.
I'm not chasing you.
No,
I'm not chasing you.
Yep.
Staying in my house.
Me and my husband have a very firm leave behind agreement.
Yes.
So if we're like getting chased by a killer, I'm like, do you think I'm gone? Like, go for the cops and hope for the best. Like, don't turn back. We got a family. We got pets. We got a kid. I'm probably dead for sure, and you turn around is not going to save me. It's just stupid. But no, the Zozo one was really, really stupid. I actually had done an episode on Zozo on a Paranormal State of Mind podcast, which is my old one.
Mm-hmm.
And I did all this research, and then I was like, this is a crazy story. And then I realized afterwards, I was like, oh, it's some motherfucker from Ghost Adventures, Zozo. Like, he talks about, like, his daughter and all this other stuff. It's a crazy story if it's true, but I kind of just don't believe him. Oh, you know what my other favorite episode is of Ghost Adventures?
What?
Which one?
Is when they go to that house, and it's an African-American couple, and, like, the girl is, like, the woman's faking it, and, like, they realize that she's faking it. Do you remember that episode?
It was
like halfway through the episode, and Zach's
was
like,
it an episode or was that a whole movie? I thought they did like an actual whole like long special on it. That was
the Demon House one.
Okay,
but that wasn't fake. I don't know. Maybe it was fake. I don't know. Wasn't there. But no, I know which one Michelle's talking about, because halfway through the episode, Zach's like, because he's so monotone. He only has one voice, and he's like, I pull aside this woman to tell her that I know she's lying to me about all of the things going on.
You're talking about
we're gonna pass up
where
our
they had
cameras.
The writing on the wall, right? Like all of a sudden, whenever they came, and like the writing automatically like came to be on the walls, like when they left outside, and then all of a sudden came back inside. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then they said their house that room had caught on fire, but like it looked very purposeful and stuff. That was my other favorite episode, because like, you guys are fucking wild.
Oh, now I gotta watch that one again.
Yeah,
that one
like
later.
It's just when people are like, I was listening to Morbid the other day, and they did like a haunted house one, and they're like, isn't it crazy that people get together? It's like, hey, you want to fake a haunted house? Fuck yeah! Like, could you imagine sitting next to your husband, like, hey, you know what I want to do today? Oh, I want to go to like the media and fake a haunted house. Like, let's get famous for that. Who wants that kind of attention? Who wants that stress? I can't. I like to lie to a certain extent. Like, I truly do. But like, that's too much. It's too much.
Oh my goodness. Were they talking about Barrett's haunted mansion in that haunted house episode by any chance?
You talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're the one talking about the episode.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, there's a really, 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 really cool haunted house in Massachusetts.
I'm gonna be so honest with you. My brain just zoned out when you asked that, and I forgot what I was talking about.
Can I? So you talked about Morbid, and then I had to think, and I was like, remember that time that Elena messaged me and told me that she liked my shit?
Yeah, listen to this horse shit. So it's right after we started our podcast. Okay, it's right after we started our podcast, and like our TikTok was doing pretty good at first. And Alicia goes, "Oh shit, Elena from Morbid started following us." I was like, "What? What?"
So that's what it was. She didn't comment. Amazing. She started following, and then I commented like a psycho.
Yeah, and so I get excited, and as soon as I got to pull it, she goes, "Oh, my bad. It was for Northern Gothic." I was like, "Damn it, Alicia! I got so excited. That podcast isn't even going on anymore."
No, I know, but I was like, oh my God, thank you so much for the follow. I'm melting. And she responded, quickly. And I was like, she was like, oh, I don't even remember what she said. She could have told me that I was like a piece of shit. I don't remember. But I was like, thank you so much. And, I don't have this podcast anymore, but if you want to listen to this one, I'd be really interested. Thank you. Bye.
And in her head, she went, nah. She never followed us on this one. That's not my shit. All they do is ramble. But yeah, I was very, it was a very up and down for me because like, oh shit, somebody kind of big followed us. What the fuck is happening? It's like when I had a paranormal state of mind, Liz from Ghosts in the Burb started following me. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And then I was like, Elena's followed us. And Alicia's like, sorry, my bad. It wasn't this podcast. It was my own podcast. I was like,
I can't read.
I'm so happy for you, Alicia.
So I can't read. So it was an accident. I didn't mean for it to happen.
It's okay. You're good.
But it's true. And I'm like, of course you followed the podcast that's no longer active. So I'm like, oh, if you like this one, check out this one. That's no,
it's nothing like this one.
I understand.
Oh my god. So, which podcast are you guys listening to now? Obviously, Morbid.
Yeah.
I listen to the last podcast on the left a lot.
So, did you get their game? They have a game.
I've seen the game, but I haven't got it yet because I have no one to play it with.
I play it. I love it. Yes,
I don't have it. I want to play it. I love them so much. I love Last Podcast on the Left. It's my favorite podcast. Okay, so I like to listen to things like 3 times so that I understand them completely. So I've listened to the Manhattan Project, the whole series 4 times.
Oh my.
I love it. Because it's history, and I'm like, yum, history, because I have my other podcast, Wicked Doc History, where I was very inspired by Last Podcast on the Left.
Yeah. No, so if you do buy the game, it's amazing because you get like little aliens, and then you get like a Sasquatch, and then you get like, who else you have a witch.
And a little market. Oh my God, hold on. I got to grab these guys off my desk. So you remember Mulan from the 90s?
Yes.
So I got this toy, and doesn't it look like Ben, Marcus, and Henry?
Oh my God.
Right? And they
I
sit
love
on
it.
my desk. They sit on my desk for inspiration while I'm writing.
That is awesome. Oh. Has Ghost Adventures done any episodes near you guys? Like anywhere where you lived?
I don't think so. So I live on the East Coast of North Carolina. I'm trying to think. I don't believe so. So like where I live, I'm trying to think. Wilmington is the closest city to us, and it's not even that big. It would be a good place, but like they want to hide a bunch of their like hauntings and stuff that they have. Well, to be honest, like we live in the South, so we have like some pretty like shitty racist things that we did. So a lot of our hauntings, I think, are like to do with that. So they don't talk about it that much. Yeah. I can't think of anywhere now. Like my husband. He lives in West Virginia, so I've been there quite a few times. So they've done a lot of places in West Virginia, like the West Virginia Penitentiary and stuff like that, which I want to go to next year so bad. Which he's still pretty far away from it.
Is that more towards me?
No, it's like tippy top of West Virginia. Like you're going into the woods in West Virginia. It's not for you, Alicia.
The only Ghost Adventures I know of that in Massachusetts, like they don't, I don't know, maybe because we're just like they're not interested in us, maybe. But they did the Houghton Mansion in North Adams, Massachusetts, and I know that because I did an episode on Northern Gothic about it, and because I was like, oh, I love Zach Bagans, and he's so cute. And so I know they did that, but I don't think they did anything else in Boston or in the surrounding areas, which is sad because there's some like really cool haunted stuff around there. Like we have, well, the tuberculosis hospital's been knocked down, but the town I grew up in has an old haunted fort from like the Revolutionary War, and all like there's a old army base on one of the Boston Harbor Islands that's haunted by a lady in black.
So they haven't done anything in my actual city, but about 45 minutes outside, I'm near St. Augustine.
Mhm.
Oh,
So like we've had ghost hunters, and then we've had ghost adventures. The ghost adventures did the fort, and then ghost hunters did the lighthouse.
Yeah. Isn't that where that really pretty, like, famous pink hotel is too?
Ooh. Do we
You
have
know
a
what I'm
pink
talking
hotel?
about?
It might be further south. I think it's further south in Tampa.
Maybe, but it's a really cool story. It's about this man who, honestly, I'm gonna fuck up a lot of it, but this man who moved from a different country to here, had to leave his love of his life behind. She thought that he abandoned her. He didn't abandon her. He built this hotel, named it after her. I think she had died at some point, and like, so now the story goes, and honestly you'll have to look up because I'm pretty sure I fudged all of it up, but essentially the way the story goes is now you can see his ghost and her ghost walking on the beach together. It's really sweet. Yeah.
I love
Okay.
it.
I found it. It's in Tampa. I was right. It was in Tampa. So it's
Okay.
the Haunted Don Caesar Hotel.
That's it.
Haunted
Don Caesar.
Caesar Hotel.
Yeah, it's really pretty, like a really unique
Oh,
hotel.
yeah.
And like for its time when it was built, like that style, it's like a Spanish style. It wasn't as popular as it is like now. It's more popular in Florida, but at the time that was very different. But it's a really pretty story. It's sad though, but it's I heard it was supposed to be really cool and haunted. But no, I've just looked up to see if Ghost Adventure's been anywhere close to me. They haven't. Ghost Hunters came to Wilmington because we have a battleship.
Okay.
There, and it's supposed to be haunted. They do ghost tours, but they want like $250 for like a ghost tour.
I will tell you, if you ever decide to come down to the Devil's Asshole, St. Augustine has a ton of different haunted ghost tours. So you can do ones where you walk around and people are all dressed up like as pirates or something and telling you all the stories or whatever. You've got the haunted trains that they have. They'll take you into the old jail. They'll take you into Ripley's, because Ripley's down here used to be a hotel before it became Ripley's.
Oh, cool.
And it caught fire on one solid floor, and 2 women died in the same exact position.
What?
And they take you into Ripley's late at night, because you go around and see all the other haunted locations. And then the one that I absolutely love, which whatever, but it's the haunted pub crawl.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
It's so fun.
So I don't know, did you probably know, did Ghost Adventures ever do the old Charleston jail?
Yes, because that's where Dakota came from.
Okay, that's what I've been there. I live about 5 or 6 hours from Charleston, but me and my husband went a couple years ago, and it was really, really cool. I think that's what I did my first episode on my old podcast, but it's really cool. And I hadn't seen Ghost Adventures do it, and I kind of figured they had, but it was really spooky. And then there's like one part where we're on the ghost tour, and like, you know, whenever your hair is kind of touching something, you feel like let's say if you're like up against a wall and it's kind of just like clinging to it. I kept going like this and like trying to like push my hair down, and my husband's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Is there a bug on me or something like that?" And he's like, "No." And so like we're walking through the tour and stuff like that. And then I kept telling him, I was like, it also feels like there's like something on my ankle. And at the end of the tour, they said there's a ghost here that they call Animal, because that's what every time you talk to it, it calls itself Animal. And they said it'll run especially against females, it'll run its body up against females. And that whole time through that, I was talking about, but they said it's not like a mean ghost. It's a very sad history, as with most of the South. But it was essentially like a mentally challenged boy who would walk
I was
on all
thinking
four.
of Animal from the Muppets.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
That's where I was. I would just imagine this little purple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so cute.
Yeah. And there's a story of like the quote unquote first female serial killer was, kept there.
Lavinia or something.
Lavidia.
That's what it is. Yeah. So they have done it, because I remembered that name because he kept calling for her in his episode.
Yeah. But I mean, it's hard to say if that's true. There's definitely some iffiness happening at that hotel that she lived at, but I don't know if I would go as far as to say like a full-on serial killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But somebody was getting killed. I don't know if you could call it a full serial killing. Like the way the story goes is like they had like a hole in their floor and a trap door, and there's like just tons of dead bodies, and the house
Kind of
caught
like
on fire.
H.H. Holmes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, H.H. Holmes is pretty crazy. Even though he didn't kill as many people as they say, he is still a weird dude. Also, speaking of H.H. Holmes and Morbid, I listened to their special, and they said that people used to call him Smegma because they said he smelled like smegma back in the day. I was like, what a horrible burn.
How is that a smell that is relatable enough to call somebody that so that others would understand what you meant?
Back a long time ago.
Why are you smelling anything like that?
Why are you doing
they don't have soap or water, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they did, but it wasn't something they passed around very often, evidently. And then, I don't know about, like, now everybody's circumcised, but back then, I don't know if it was common in America. I know it's definitely not a big thing in the UK.
She's like, no.
I've been trying to get Alicia to watch this, like, British reality show.
Which one?
Naked Attraction. It's on YouTube. There's only 6 episodes. My husband tells me about it, and he's like, you gotta watch it. And I was like, okay. It's wild, guys. Check it out. It's on YouTube. Only 6 episodes. You have to be signed into an account because it's 18 or older. But listen, it's amazing. When he starts telling me about it, he's like, it's a dating game where, like, you start dating people on their, like, just their naked body. And it starts off, like, waist down, and then you see chest down, and then you'll see their face. And every round they delete, like, get rid of somebody. The amount, because it's in the UK.
Wait. Pause.
Why?
They're talking to each other's genitals at one point.
So at first,
like, and that's all they do.
At first, nobody's allowed to talk. Like just the hostess and the one who's looking to date the people. The other people have to stay silent until you see their face. You just have to watch it. But listen, the reason she won't watch it, she's already forgot about this. The reason she won't watch it because everybody's uncircumcised there. She won't watch it.
I have PTSD from working as a nurse in a nursing home for a very long time. Listen, I have nothing against however you want to hold your guy. However he's dressed, that's none of my business. But from the time you're a young teenager, you have to look at these sock puppets hanging down to elderly man's knees with their dead bats dangling next to them. It is something that I just don't like to see. I've seen so many, more than anyone should. Granted, I was paid to look at them, but it's still just like all I think of is like the gross old men who'd be like, you see anything you like? No, not at all.
Matter of fact, I got some Vicks Vapor Rub under my nose, so I can't smell it either.
All right, I know I'm going off a tangent, but listen, I have to go to the neurologist once a year. I got to. For some reason, and I know why, it's sad because people who go to neurologists usually have brain issues or something, neurological issues, of course. That's what's a neurologist. But so they have accidents and stuff. Every time I go into the waiting room, it smells like doo-doo or pee-pee. So I take my hand sanitizer, put my hand, and then I dirty Sanchez myself. I go put it up there. And the nurse saw me do it, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, it smells so bad in here all the time. Like, I'm not trying to complain, but you asked me why I'm putting that there. She's like, that's such a smart idea. I was like, yeah, but you're gonna keep doing it. You're just got like a dry red spot right there.
After years, you don't even notice it, honestly. You just you stop noticing.
I had to take my son last year with me, and he was like, Mom, why does it smell like doo-doo in here? I was like, shut up. Stop saying that. Everybody can hear you, okay? He's like, I think that man pooped his pants. I was like, bro, hey,
probably.
Stop saying that, okay? They can't help it. I was like, they have something wrong. He's like, do you poop your pants? Because your brain is broken. I was like, no, I don't. I never have.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And He's just so aggressively loud about it. Like he's trying to be quiet, but it's so far from a whisper. He's like, "Did you poop your pants?" I'm like, "No, I did not."
It.
That's
Stop.
what we call in the Northeast an Irish whisper.
Ah, you guys don't like Irish people very much, do
No,
you?
no. There's a lot of us.
Well, I was just picking because whenever I was talking to Alicia one time, I was talking about my big head, and she's like, "It's probably because you're Irish." She's like, "They say that Irish people have big heads," and I was like, "I mean, isn't that like maybe racist or stereotype or something like that?"
No, because my husband, you didn't get to see him in his full lovely. He's a ginger, but he loves potatoes, and I'm like, look at that, you're embracing your heritage.
I think everybody loves potatoes.
I love rice. I'm half Filipino, so I love rice.
Okay.
So I follow
Ooh,
mine.
I love rice. I love some rice, but I am so sad. I did my 23andMe and I was 100% Northwestern European. I am literally 100% white. It is so sad. It was the saddest day of my. I'm not practicing like Michelle had put on our Instagram. I'm not a practicing white person, but like I had nothing interesting. I was so upset. My husband got the coolest DNA results. I was pissed.
What did he get?
Oh, he got all kinds of cool shit. He's like German, Irish, English, Scottish, Italian, French, Ashkenazi Jew, one of the oldest cultures in the entire world. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, I bet I'll get something cool. My dad looks like Mexican Santa Claus. So let me see what I got. And just white.
You know what's crazy? I thought Alicia was Spanish because her dad looks so freaking Spanish, like one of those Mexican wrestlers with a mask.
Yeah, he looks like
a luchador.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be a luchador.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah, he's so cute though. So freaking
my dad's
cute.
adorable.
Oh.
Every time you talk about the Pukwudgie story with the guys, like I just imagine as Alicia's dad being like talking to the dog.
I talked to my dad yesterday. And I'm like, have you listened to the new podcast? And he's like, Leash, I'm trying, but I can't figure it out because I don't have a Spotify account. And I'm like, Dad, you don't need a Spotify account to listen to Spotify. You just hit the link I sent you. He's like, I can't find the link. I'm like, it's in your text messages. And he's like, oh, all right. I understand now. But I told him, I was like, listen, I don't think you should listen to Northern Gothic. Not Northern Gothic, I'm sorry. I don't think you should listen to Rambling Broads. And he's like, well, why? I'm like, it's not appropriate for you.
No.
I don't think it's appropriate for you. Just listen.
No.
So then he starts listening to Wicked Dark History. I can hear myself talking on the other end of the phone. He's like, you hear that, Leash? That's you on the radio.
No, I've never been so thankful that my family does not support anything I do. Thank God. This is great. It is a little disappointing that my husband listens to podcasts because I said something. We were talking about Outlander on the podcast, and I said something about how Tristan was a son of a bitch because he's nothing like Jamie. And so, like, he came home from work the other day. He's like, "Oh, so I'm a son of a bitch," and I was like, "Did I say that?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "When?" And he was like, "You're talking about Outlander." I was like, "Oh, well, you can never be as good as Jamie, and that's okay. Like, you don't even try, but that's fine." I was like, that man's like a god. Goodness gracious. You're never going to be as good as him.
Show, I mean, Sam Heughan's beautiful, but the show does no justice to Jamie. The books, I'm like, I can't even read, and I read those books. And he is so fun. And their chemistry, he's even sexier in the books. And I'm just like, oh my God. I would throw myself against those standing stones. Like you remember in World War Z when they're trying to get into Jerusalem?
Yeah.
That would be me, like banging my head against the stone, just doing everything I could to get in there, to get to this man. And I've been practicing. I've been like, Jamie, it's me. I'm your great cousin. And it's fine if we bang because you don't have a problem with that one. Not closely. The genetics are fine. Come to me, Jamie. And then he'd be like, who? Crazy woman, what is it? You have a cheeseburger drawing on your leg. Don't pay attention to that, Jamie.
You totally get burned as a witch, like automatically. Like, look at this crazy bitch. There's no way we would survive. Like, why she got so many tattoos on her? Why she have a couple? Why she scarred up all the hell? What is happening? We wouldn't. Jamie, also, Claire, it's like stunningly beautiful. And I'm like, damn it. I have white eyelashes and it's offensive. When I do this, I look like Caillou, okay?
Show? Oh my god, I was just talking about that show the other day. Little bald white whitey kid.
I'm gonna smack him in his little ball ass head. Shut up, you little bitch.
My sister doesn't have eyebrows, and I put them on her one time. She has them, but they're very thin and very, very clear. Not even white; they're just clear. And so I put modest eyebrows on her. Okay, and everybody's like, "What? Did you lose some weight? Because you look so good." I'm like, "No, the bitch has eyebrows." So now she won't wear them. She's like, "I think it was too much." And I was like, "When you die, I'm gonna put eyebrows on you, and they're gonna say fuck." She's never looked better in her whole life. And they're like, that dead bitch looks so good.
Put it on her so it looks like she's like
lopsided.
How did this happen? I'm so confused. No, but what I was going to say about Caillou, I somehow got on a TikTok adult Caillou page. And it's weird. Listen, not sexual. But it's about how whiny Caillou is as an adult and how much his fucking parents hate him as an adult, especially his dad. Like he goes on like Tinder or something like that and meets up with a date, and he's like, my mommy and daddy say I'm the best boy around, and the girl's like, are you okay? And he's like, and so then he comes back home and he's like, the date didn't go very good, mommy and daddy, and the dad's like, oh yeah, I did it. And he's like, who would have thought? Yeah, and the dad's just like so done with this shit, and the mom's just like kind of burnt out. She's like, okay, and he's like, I'll never be as good as Rosie. And it does like the same, like, you know, in the show where like there's like the one who's like, and today Caillou did this, but it has my narrating it. You guys got to check it out. I wasted a solid 2 hours of my life watching.
That doesn't sound like a waste. That doesn't sound like a waste.
It doesn't. It sounds like everything. Yes. Like, yes, I was right. That kid was a shithead when he grew up.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't let my kid watch Caillou.
No,
you're not allowed to watch
neither
it.
one of my kids, and they were 8 years apart. I was like, we're not doing this. Mm-mm. No, it's Yo Gabba Gabba or nothing.
Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, my oldest loved Yo Gabba Gabba, and I mean, I liked it too. Not gonna lie.
Right.
I love Storybots. Have you guys seen that?
I've seen that one.
My youngest didn't like Storybots, and my oldest was too old for Storybots when it came out.
We did
Snoop Dogg, Jack Black. I mean, it's a lot like Yo Gabba Gabba with not so acidy trip of it.
But that was the best part of Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, but you learn shit from this.
Do you remember the one where it was like, don't bite your friends? I love that one. That was my favorite. And I'm like, you're right. You shouldn't bite your friends. And this is useful information.
I used to watch, when I babysat kids, I would be like, okay, guys, we're going to do Gullah Gullah. And we're going to do
God. I love Gullah Gullah.
Gullah Gullah Island. Love that shit.
Island. Do something and frogs are cool. And I love that. I love that big orange frog.
Yes.
Do you guys remember Roly Poly Oly?
Yes. Yep.
Loved it. So good.
I was watching the old Goosebumps off of Netflix with my youngest, and he was like, I don't like the dummy. And I was like, it's okay, mommy doesn't either, but we're still gonna watch it.
My youngest has a vendetta against Slappy. She calls him the red Slappy, the one with the red hair. She's like, I don't want to, no matter what happens, Mom, we're not watching the red Slappy. I'm like, okay, no worries.
You know, it's actually pretty decent. I thought it was gonna be crappy. The Jack Black Goosebump movies.
They're
not scary, but they're really good. Really good.
Those are my 8-year-old's favorite movies. She's like really into. Now, the more I'm saying it, I'm like, she's into like some weird stuff. But it's because she's a what's it called, a COVID baby. She was with me too much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with mine.
My kid also is into weird stuff, but like he's really scared of stuff, but he likes getting scared. So like, but then he does weird things. Like it's last year, and so me and my husband, my kid comes in the room and he shuts the door. He goes, I'm a bad guy. And I was like, oh, yeah? And he's like, yeah, my name is Straight to the Road. He's like, and I just cut your legs off. Later, loser. He walks out of the room. He was like, what the fuck just happened? Is that his tagline? Later, losers. And then he made up a whole story about a scary story called Red Door. And now that there's that movie Red Door out, he's like, Mom.
That's some Danny Torrance shit right there.
He was
That's
like,
that's some The Shining. How is he talking like, hey mom, hey mom? If he starts talking with his finger, you need to move.
I'm all right. He's fine. He's creepy enough. But yeah, when he's like, I'm straight to the road. Later, losers. It's like, you can't go to school doing this game at all. We're gonna get in trouble. Oh my god. Bad.
I told my husband, I was like, look, Roland starts school next year. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're at the top of the list for anything they call about. It's you. That's it. You're the only number. Can't do it. Because we were at Target earlier, bought him a Freddy Krueger because he absolutely had to have Freddy Krueger, and he's talking to this poor cashier, and she's like, have you seen the movies? And we're like, no, he hasn't. No. And he's like, kind of. And I was like, no, you haven't. You have not watched these.
So
and then he goes into all of these details, and I'm like, oh shit.
We almost fucked up really bad one time. he was like, I don't want to go to sleep. And I was like, me and Dad's gonna watch Scream. And he's like, said the ghost faced man. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I'll sit and watch Scream. And I was like, all right. So it was not the newest one with Jenna Ortega, but the other one.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the town?
The very first one, Jenna Ortega. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's right there on the call, and he has the voice, and he makes it so far. It's right before he jumps out behind her. And it was about to happen in my head. I was like, oh God, he's not giving up. We were playing chicken. He's like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna stay up. And as goes, the music gets crazy. He goes, oh, you know what? I think I do need to go to bed. Bye, I love you. And like right into the ring, I was like, we almost fucked this kid up big time because I wasn't gonna stop and he wasn't gonna stop because I had a point to prove.
You're like, oh my God, we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna find out who taps first.
And he made it so close. I was like, but then I think about it, I was like, I have been watching the craziest shit since I was like 4 years old. Like my dad,
we had no supervision, and everything was on TV, and you could just click.
I watched Ren and Stimpy with my dad repeatedly throughout my childhood. I watched it as an adult, and I was like, oh my fucking
My dad and I would sit there and laugh like lunatics at Ren and Stimpy when I was a kid. I had one of the cassettes. I had the Christmas special where Stimpy loses his fart.
Mm-hmm.
It was very
I remember that.
Oh my God.
I had it on cassette.
I never watched it with my parents, but they just didn't give a shit. But my dad would like, you can watch Friday the 13th, but you can't get scared and come in our bed tonight. I'm like, okay. And I went, and he wouldn't let me in the bedroom, so I just sleep in the hallway. I'm like, it's okay. Stay for here.
My dad
but
would wait for us to watch scary movies. He'd be like, we'd have friends over, and he's like, hey guys, want to watch a scary movie? And we're like, yeah. And then he'd leave the room. But what he would do is he would be on the other side of the door. And he'd wait, and he'd watch, and he'd listen because he knew the movies well, and he'd wait and he'd watch. Texas Chainsaw was one of them. The remake with Bill. What's her name? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at the meat locker scene where she's like hiding in the lockers or whatever, and he's like beaten against each locker. My friend at the time was literally on the edge of the couch, and she's just like, my dad nudges, I think it was like my brother. He nudges him real quick, and he's like, watch this. And then all of a sudden, he grabbed her by the thigh as soon as like the locker ripped open, and she shot up in the air and then was on all fours on the ground crying. And she's like, I'm never coming back. And I'm like, I'm so
I want to
sorry.
do that when my kids have friends over, so they don't go. The ones I don't like.
Exactly.
I'm so excited about it. This is sad, but there's a bridge literally not even a mile down my road. It's like a little creek bridge, so it's very small. My mom used to do this to me. This guy killed his mom and he killed his mom and his dad and tried to kill his ex-wife and kids. Anyways, long story short on that, there's his mom over this bridge. For the longest time, there was a blood stain on the bridge, and they found the body and stuff like that. But my mom, after like...
Why did they keep the blood?
It just won't go away. Blood sets into concrete.
Oh my God.
It's probably not there. But my mom would like act like her car would break down on that bridge, and every time we had friends in the car, she would act like it broke down, and she would start screaming, like pretending like she saw the woman crawling out of the creek. And we live right down below it, and I cannot wait until my kid is old enough to just destroy him. Like, it's a very sad story.
No, I mean, I'm down for that, but I mean, that's a wild. That's, there are pressure washers. Just saying. You
And
could use
bleach.
something.
It, honestly, they
Another-
wash, like you could see people scrubbing it. It just would not get out for like the longest time. It was just like it was in there, but it was a crazy story. My dad worked with the guy who died's brother. But yeah. But I can't wait to scare my kid with it. My mom and my grandma and grandpa's house, we used to do like big Halloween parties there, and so they'd always get us on the tractor and do a tractor ride. And always my uncles would get a chainsaw and run through the woods, but it didn't have the blade on it, but just to scare us.
God. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I went to Halloween Horror Nights, that's the first person I ran away from. The guys with the chainsaw. I'm like, I'm not. Nope.
Well, there'd be a tractor pulling us, and we'd be on a trailer on some hay bales. So there's really nothing you can do because it's just out of nowhere. And then we always knew it was coming, but it always scared us. Like the first year it happened, it scared the shit out of us. We're like, oh God. I'm like 6 or 7 at the time, but like the oldest kids were like 14, 15.
Already had it 14 more times.
Yeah, so like it was just kind of like, oh, there's Michelle, so there's all the little ones. They just got to suffer so the older ones can get scared. Yeah. It was a fun childhood. But then I think about like me protecting my kids so much from everything scary. I'm like, he's all right. I survived, and but then I'm like, if he tells his school that to let him watch the stuff, they're gonna think I'm such a bad parent. I'm gonna DSS called on me, and he's already got like all these xenomorphs from Alien, and my husband's let him watch a bunch of scenes from Alien movies, and he talks, and then we play D&D. So I'm like, I feel like I'm just setting him up to be a weird kid now, and I feel a little bit bad about it.
Nope, embrace it.
They had like a show and tell type of deal at his school, and so he has a miniature for his D&D, and then so he brought his, and so like me and him play like where it's called Willow and Bobo Adventures. So every day to school, he's like, all right, Mom, what adventure are we going on today? I'm like, okay. So we do this, and I come up with like all these adventures and stuff. And so then he told the whole school about it. And I was like, this is either going to work for you. I worked for him. All the little kids are like, what? That's cool. And this little kid's like, are you the mom who plays the games? I was like, I am that mom. I'm the cool mom. I'm not,
right.
though. Everybody looked at me like, oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Aww.
There is a lady in the school line who has a Jeep, and it has fake blood all over the side of it, and it has Pennywise, and it's got a bunch of red balloons all over it. And I was like, you are probably judged very hardly. Yeah, she's way cooler than me. But it's not even the new Pennywise, it's the older Pennywise, which is like, that makes you even cooler.
Oh,
yeah.
That is so cool. That just changed my whole
perspective.
Christina books like, oh,
right.
Yeah, I was like, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that Tim Curry thing?
I loved that original mini series when it was on TV, and any chance it was on, I would totally watch it. And I've read that book so many times.
It's such a big book.
I've read it at least 5 times all the way through.
It's thick.
Oh my God.
I mean, when I say read, though, it's all Audible, because a bitch can't read. But I have all of those Audible books. It's like a 26-hour Audible. Like, that's how it's so good, though. And if you have a good narrator, it's like watching a movie with no pictures except for your brain pictures.
Yeah. I've gotten into like kinky books lately, and I'm like, yeah. It's nothing with aliens, though.
No, that's your loss.
I mean, maybe I could possibly get into that, but we'll never know.
We'll never know.
I don't want to waste one of my credits on like a kinky alien book, because sometimes they get like real crappy. Like I listened to one the other day and I was like, yeah, it's horrible. It ends up somehow being like high schoolers. I was like, I don't want to listen to this at all. I can't do this. I'm a 30-year-old woman, 32-year-old woman.
No, thank you.
About high school love. Gross.
No.
As I listen to Harry Potter for the 12th time in a row, I'm like, I'm an adult.
It just doesn't work for me. I just want like some weird 30-year-old sexy books. That's what I want. Maybe like a little bit like.
You want to read about a scene where he just pushes that D&D table off of the dining room table and miniatures go flying and, you know, you've rolled your hexagonal dice and you're getting what's coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, now you're about to be a level 27 wizard.
But you know what? You know what I found really works? It's like it's like when people do like a your face is killing me, Alicia. Is when people do a doll, what you do like a real like I don't know, like a dame. Like I want to be called a dame and I want to be called a doll. I found out that's the thing for me. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, you Tristan, you gonna call me dame?
We're like, hey,
He's
Dame,
like,
how do you like not being able to have your
God.
own bank account? Yeah.
He was
How's
like,
it feel not being able to own property? You like that?
You know what? You know what? I just started working and I would fucking take that shit all over again, not to have to do this anymore. I fucking hate it. Okay. I hate working. My life is no better. Okay. It's not. Why the fuck can't man just make more than me and me just stay home? That's what I should be doing.
Us back, Michelle.
They already did. What the fuck else do we have? Okay, nothing. It's fine. I don't make as much as men. I don't have fucking rights in my own body. Not to get political here, but like, who gives a shit? If I could stay home and just be there to look pretty, I will greet that man with a fucking martini every night. If I could just be a stay-at-home wife,
That's what I do. That's literally my life. That's literally I greet him Beaver first as he walks through the door. And and it's like he deserves it. And I've been picking him up every day from work this past week because our other car is getting fixed and I bring him a cold drink. And so he has his little seltzer when he gets in the car because I appreciate the fact that I don't have to do anything. Because I got to that level. I worked real hard as a nurse and I worked and I made all this money and I trapped him. You know what I mean? So now I get to just kind of like coast on my look.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just mad that like our ancestors like women need to work. I'm like the fuck we do. Fuck that shit. I don't want to do this. It's horrible. I'm sitting there for 8 hours. Then I have the same shit I had to do before when I come home. I'm like, well, I still got to do all the shit I did before. I got to do homework. I got to cook. I got to clean. It's fucking unfair.
No.
I work all day. And then I'm expected to be happy, and then I'm expected to look pretty, and
I'm expected to smile.
Yeah, I'm expected to have joy in my life. I just listened to somebody bitch about life insurance for 20 minutes.
God.
My husband just opened the door and scared me. As we're talking about this, thank you, my love. He brought me and a brownie? You made brownies?
Special brownies?
No, they're normal brownies.
Aww.
I love you.
This man brings her dessert or coffee or tea every time we record.
Nice. Mine does too. You didn't see it. He brought me pizza and then he filled up my wine.
Pussy fresh.
No, mine's in there playing video games. So I lost on this one.
Oh, those are good. Those are good brownies. Just an Aldi brand. That's pretty good.
Nice. Well, I mean, we can wrap it. Do you guys have anything else you want to share?
This is super fun.
This is really fun. I have loved this.
Mm-hmm.
I was dying. Ray's like, my husband's like, you're gonna have the best fucking time, and I was like, I know.
Oh yeah,
I hope you did.
I do. I love it because it's just I love this kind of setting. Oh, I will say though, so if you like ghost adventures, there's this group called Dr. Ghost Hunters on YouTube. So they're this, obviously it's kind of like their hobby, But they just went into a haunted VBR, VRBO. I don't know. It's a different type of thing for an Airbnb. But this lady has a full-out haunted house. Yes.
Yep.
She has a full-out haunted house in an old mining town in California, which was really fun to watch. And they apparently went to like one of the hotels because one of the wives was kind of chicken. She didn't want to stay. She got a weird feeling. She's like, no, we're not staying here. And they're like, okay, fine. So then they end up staying in a haunted hotel instead.
I highly recommend staying in haunted places if you get a chance. I stayed in a haunted house in Salem for my birthday, this past birthday, and saw a ghost, and it was so cool. I will never stay anywhere that isn't haunted ever again.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I have wanted to. Well, I kind of did. When we had our anniversary earlier this year, we went to St. Augustine because it wasn't that far. And we stayed at one of the haunted not Airbnbs, but haunted bed and breakfasts where like an old Spanish soldier from like the times where Spain came and conquered fucking St. Augustine. One of them actually patrols.
Trolls.
Hey.
It's like, hey, fuck you, your outfit looks stupid.
He probably did. But he patrols the top floor, which is where we stayed. And I'm like, oh, this is exciting. My husband's like, you're such a chicken shit. I was like, I know, but I'm excited too.
That's how I am. Like I get so excited to see something scary, but as soon as something scary happens, I'm like, nah, fuck this shit. It's too much. I can't do it.
I get too into it and then I get in trouble. Like I've touched you touch one haunted thing and then like everybody loses their minds every time you go somewhere. But like, I get too into it and I'm like, you want to come back here and break in after it's closed? And Jeremy's like, no, what is wrong with you?
I just want to see what they're really talking about. I didn't get to do anything yet.
So before we go, would you go to the Zach Baggins museum?
In a
Absolutely.
In a second.
Yes. Because
take my money.
All of it.
All
of it. Let's go.
I want to see the gibbet box. I want to see I want to touch it. I don't give a fuck.
I want to see the mirror.
I want to see the mirror. I want to do everything he warns you not to do.
Exactly.
That's what I want to do. And that's why my husband's we're not going to the Zach Bagans Museum because you're going to bring home a person. Crazy.
I just had a full picture of you running wild through the Zach Bagans place. And you'd be like, no, Daddy Zach, I'm sorry for being bad. Don't punish me.
Do you know those little kids?
Touch it.
Do you know those little kids that everyone gets annoyed with in like the Christmas aisles and stuff that pushes all the buttons? That's me. I'm like, I will touch everything. Don't tell me not to touch something because that's exactly what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, gun. That's me.
Oh.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on. It's been great.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you. We enjoyed it.
Absolutely. You guys should come on more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll have to come on Wicked Doc History sometime. My new solo podcast. It's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I say it's very fun. Like I'm like it's only me, but I think it's a good time.
You're like it's a great time.
Yeah, it is very fun. I liked it.
Awesome.
It was good.
So any social medias anyone should follow you on? Obviously on Instagram because that's where we met. You said you have a TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
Do you guys have Facebook?
No.
Okay, good.
So I had started a Facebook, but then I was like, I don't really like Facebook. I don't want to get on Facebook. So that was from my old podcast. I never switched it to Rambling Broads. But so there's still a Paranormal State of Mind podcast, Facebook going on around there. But no, I can't do it. But we have TikTok, Instagram, emails, all Rambling Broads podcast at Instagram, TikTok, or at Gmail. So yeah. And then we're going to have Chrissy on our podcast. So make sure you check that out too.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about, what are we talking about again, Alicia?
It's paranormal. Am I the assholes?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so we had to
Love
keep it
it.
spooky. Sorry, this wasn't the most spookiest episode, guys. I know that you come here for like all the spooky, but you know,
No,
come on
I
over
love
to ours and it'll also be spooky.
I love cryptids because I go on Etsy and like, do you know how many fucking cryptid shirts I bought? I bought one. I bought a candle of the Flatwoods monster. It smells like a campfire with s'mores.
Oh, I love
Oh
the
yeah,
Flatwoods
that's
monster.
amazing.
Yes.
I do too.
no.
There's a Instagram page. They're called like, I don't know, something like the 6%, and they make stuffed animals of the Flatwood monster. Is really cool. You have
I
to
can
check
make
it out.
You want Flatwoods monster? I can make you a Flatwoods monster. I'll mail it to you tomorrow.
She's like, I'm gonna do it now. With my brownies.
Yep. The whole time we're podcasting, just gonna be knitting.
Crocheting.
Crocheting. I'm sorry.
I said that to my daughter one
Crocheting.
time. My daughter has grasped what I like to call the little old lady because she's only like 13 or 14. No, she's turning 14. That's what it is. She's turning 14, but she's like, I'm knitting myself a sweater. And I was like, you little old lady. She's
I
like,
wish
like
I
it.
had it in me. I don't know. I've
I love
tried.
crocheting.
All right,
I'm a
ladies.
hooker.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Talk to
Bye-bye.
y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Now I gotta find something that I crocheted. What
Okay,
happened?
so-
Oh, we left this one.
Okay, so we got to go to Riverside, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Right.
See you there.
Okay. I'll see you in a minute.